All right, so I'm here by the sawmill, and so I was already kind of playing with it, but I rotated the log, kind of cleaned off the top of it, and then I had to readjust the chain and add more bar oil, and there's about, I don't know, maybe half a tank of gas. So I'm just kind of getting used to this sawmill. The sawmill, the chainsaw, everything. I haven't cut anything since the last video of me getting this up and running. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish cutting up this log right here, and then I gotta go find another one and keep trying to mill some planks. I'm just trying to cut at least like 1.5 inch planks for right now, and no specific reason, just to, like I said, just to practice and get some stuff milled out. So yeah, that's what you're about to see me do. I'm just gonna cut this thing up. Woo! All right, I'm getting close to as much as I can cut right now. Again, the saw, it gets close to this bar right here, so I only got, you know, maybe another inch and a half down until I figure out a way to kind of lift the log up higher. But yeah, got some decent boards out of it. You know, this one's a nice solid plank. We get here, almost 2 inches, 3/4. What we got here? Yeah, about 1 3/4 inches. It's not bad. So I think that's kind of it for right now. Yep, that's it for today. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hello, good morning everyone. Day 2, working with the sawmill. So picking up where I left off yesterday, I kind of twisted the log, got one more little cut, and this is pretty much as low as the saw will go. As you see, I can't go any lower. It's going to hit this bar right here. So what I'm thinking I need to do is raise the log up. So I think I'm gonna make some kind of new supports or some type of spacer to lift these orange bills up here. So yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna do. Because there's still, you know, I could probably get 2 more planks out of this. And most of the logs I find are about this width. You know, a lot of the juniper, I can come over here, they're not real big. That one big log I had is kind of rare, but a lot of them are skinny, you know, skinny little logs, which I may only be able to rip it in half, but you know, that's what I'm able to do. So I'm gonna start with that, and then, man, look at this too. I think this is all just leaking out. All the bar oil. I don't like that. So I may have to modify this as well and get the oil system kind of rigged up. So more just playing with this, tweaking it, and trying to get it to work. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, this is what I got going on so far. So I just got a piece of it's like 4x4, and used some new wood screws, because these are a little bit stronger than the ones that were supplied by Norwood. And then I have these lag bolts, right? And I kind of can't see it that well, but I had to recess them in there. So I drilled a 1-inch hole and then a 1/4-inch hole for the lag to go through. And yeah, so hopefully this works. It should space it up. I did some measurements on the saw blade, so this should lift it up high enough to where now there'll only be about a 4-inch piece of like log, I guess, left. So I'm gonna go bolt this up on the mill and throw the log back up and see how it looks. Okay, so I got it one side bolted in. It's pretty sturdy, but you can see, you know, got the lag bolt down in there. Obviously I had to drill the bigger 1-inch hole so that I can get my socket in there to crank this down. And now the blade is a lot closer to where the log sits. Where's my tape at? So now you know, just under 5 inches, like 4.5, 4 3/4. So yeah, this should help a lot. Clears the track, you know, everything's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna bolt this side up now. I still have it over there on the workbench. So bolt this side up. I'm gonna throw the log back on there and see if I can get, you know, 1, maybe 2 more cuts out of that one. I'm out of gas now. Guess I should have checked that too, but getting too excited to just start cutting that I didn't check that. But I'm pretty sure I'm out of gas, because yesterday I only had about a half tank, so it's starting to bog out. Pretty sure I need to refill the fuel, so I'm gonna go mix the gas, refill it, and then I'll continue this cut. Cool. So, man, I'm left with, I don't know what kind of a 4x4, I guess. You know, a little beam. I could probably chop this down, square it up on the planer, have a nice little chunk. And then I just ripped different thicknesses, I guess. This was just like the lowest I can get right here. This is maybe 1/2 inch. this other one, maybe about 1 inch. And then these ones were a lot thicker, about 1.5 inches. So not bad, you know. I'm able to cut and get some kind of lumber out of it, you know. So I think what I want to do now is go get the other saws and go find another log. Go find another down tree somewhere, get another log up here and cut some more. So let me get all that stuff ready and go see what we can find. All right, so look at this. Look at Luna. So yeah, big pile of just downed trees. This is kind of right by our driveway. Well, this is the entryway to our driveway. You can see on this side, bunch of downed trees. This is actually on our property. So yeah, I think this one right here might be a good one. I can cut right there, cut the stump off, and then I got to measure, because obviously my mill can only do maybe about 6 or 7 feet. Do another cut, and maybe I can get another side of it. There's some big ones inside here, but man, I don't know if I'll even be able to manhandle this out of here. And I definitely got to be careful for snakes, because it is snake season. But that's a good potential log there. What else we got? There's some over there. Let's see. So this is our driveway. You can see we have a sign, you know, no trespassing. So here's another big one. This one's not bad. Might be a little difficult to get down, but I can use the winch on the side by side to kind of drag it down. But this is a good one also. Yeah, I like that one. But I think this other one will be easier to get to because I'm just by myself. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this one. It's not super big, but you know, let's see what we can make out of it. All right, let me get the Husky fired up and start cutting into this thing. All right, I need my tape measure because I don't want to cut too short of a piece or too long of a piece. So I need my tape measure. I forgot it. All right, I'm back. So yeah, 7 feet is about all I can cut on the mill right now. So I'm gonna measure out 7 feet, cut it, and I brought the cart. It's over there. I had to get a new cable. My cable broke, so I have this super long cable. Now the cart's like, I don't know, like freaking 15 feet behind me, but it's all I have right now. I eventually want to get a small utility trailer. but that might have to be in the future. Let's cut this log. Alright, you have to be careful, girl. Let's see. What is that? That was going to happen. Man, Husky puts in quick work. I like it. Alright, let's see. Now I gotta get the cart over here and load this thing up. Oh no, what are you doing? strapped in. I'm gonna move the side-by-side over here and just go down the driveway. All right, so we got the log here. I think I'm just gonna roll it onto the stands here, and then I think I'm gonna go back and see if I can cut the other side of it, or the rest of it, to get a couple of them over here so I can just, you know, start milling. So yeah, I'm gonna unload this thing and head back to the front of the property. All right, let's go get another log. All right, made it back to the mill. That's the smaller one we just got. So I set this one up. I just raised the saw right now. I'm really don't like how all the bar oil is leaking out of here. You can see it right there, and then just dripping. So it's like every time I walk away and go get something, do something, all the oil is dripping out of this thing, and I've got to refill it before I use it, which is annoying. So I don't know if that's just this particular saw, could be. I don't know if there's just something that needs to be tightened up, you know. I don't know, but it's kind of annoying. But I guess I just gotta put some more oil in it. I mean, it's not hard, but it is kind of annoying. You know, I just put some in, did a couple cuts, and then now I gotta refill it again. It's kind of wasting a lot of oil. Oil's not exactly cheap or easy to come by, you know. If I order it online, it takes about a week to get here. And if I go to town, that's about an hour and a half one way to go to town to get bar oil. So it's a 3-hour mission every time I need something from town. So like I said, that's why it's kind of annoying, you know. I know that chainsaws leak oil, that's kind of normal, but I don't know, this is seems kind of excessive. Okay, I'm gonna put more oil in it and then cut this log up. All right, got more bar oil inside. Yeah, let's fire it up and rip this log. No bueno. All right, so probably heard that little squeal, that noise, right? Engine noise from the saw. I have a feeling that obviously this excessive leaking of the bar oil and I feel like the oil's not going through the motor well enough or through the gears well enough. It's not getting onto the bar really. What I did midway, I stopped, and this little deal right here, it's a little plunger, so you can manually like force oil onto the bar. So I stopped midway, was hitting the plunger and giving a little bit of gas, and then I could see that, you know, the chain was getting some oil. But look, drip, not good. Look how wet that is. So it's just losing way too much oil. It's cutting fine, it's cutting good, you know. These last couple cuts I was giving it full throttle, and I'm not pushing real hard, I'm just giving it enough force to cut, and it's doing all right. And now this log is looking decent, you know. On the big end over here, we're, you know, just under 9 inches, and up top we're about, you know, a little under 6.5, which is not bad. I was thinking I can cut, you know, maybe some 2x4s, some small 2x4 out of here, you know, not exactly a 2x4, but get close to those dimensions. And I could square things up on the planer, smooth them out on the planer. But I don't know, I don't want to burn up this motor. I don't want to jack it up, because then I can't cut nothing again. I'm back to square one, and I don't want to do that. So I don't know, maybe I gotta do a little bit more research on it. I definitely should add the external oiler. So still got some stuff to figure out, but that's why I'm doing this. That's why I say I'm practicing, right? I got to figure out all the equipment, figure out what kind of lumber I can create. You know, so far so good. I'm still pretty happy. We're just working out the kinks. So yeah, we'll see what happens.